The desert wind hissed like a tired old spaceship, dragging trails of dust across the broken ruins of Ael'ara 9. The twin suns glared down, making the metallic cliffs shimmer like they were covered in molten gold. Commander Rion Vale wasn't here for the view. He was here because his ship's artificial intelligence, HFY had miscalculated the coordinates of a minor archaeological anomaly. Translation: another sandpit filled with junk. Congratulations. Commander, Chi-7 buzzed in his ear. You've successfully located an ancient dust collection. Rion squinted at the half-buried structure ahead. A gleaming silver monument shaped like two interlocked figures frozen mid-embrace. Romantic, sure, if you ignored the layer of cosmic grime. Looks like someone really didn't take breakup well, Rion muttered, brushing sand off the relic. Whole civilization built a monument to make their ex jealous. Chi-7 beeped with mock enthusiasm. Perhaps you could try that, sir. It would be a productive use of your emotional instability, Rion smirked. Jealousy is for amateurs. I'm more of a revenge gym membership kind of guy. He tapped his scanner. The relic hummed faintly. Old, yes, but alive in some way. Its circuits pulsed under the surface like veins of blue light running through silver skin. Energy signature detected, Chi-7 said. Unknown origin. You may want to refrain from physical contact. Rion, being the kind of man who had once tried to fix a plasma coil with chewing gum, grinned and said, Got it. Definitely won't touch it. He touched it. The relic's surface was cold, almost silky. A faint hum traveled up his arm, and the interlocked figures began to glow. The light grew stronger until the shape between them melted into a single form, humanoid, feminine and shimmering in metallic blue. When she opened her eyes, the entire canyon seemed to take a breath. Her voice was smooth, melodic, and a little annoyed. You kissed me, Rion blinked. Technically, I think I just brushed it with my hand. No, she said, stepping forward, her armor glinting with silver light. The activation sequence was sealed with a kiss. Chi-7 interrupted. Commander, I detect elevated heart rate. Please confirm if this is due to impending danger or your chronic flirtation reflex. Rion coughed. Bit of both, actually. The alien tilted her head, studying him with an amused expression that made him suddenly aware of how dusty, sweaty, and very mortal he looked. I am Ael'ara, Sentinel of the Ninth Light, she said. Guardian of the legacy of humans. Rion frowned. Legacy of humans? We've only been here for 973 of your years, she finished. And you just woke me up. Congratulations. You've triggered a 1,000-year-old security system, and unfortunately, you're now bonded. Bonded, she sighed. Do humans still not read activation manuals? Chi-7 piped in, deadpan. He doesn't read any manuals. Ael'ara folded her arms. Your DNA initiated a soul link protocol. Until I verify your intentions, our life signatures are entangled. Rion blinked. So like space marriage? More like space probation, she said dryly. He couldn't help but grin. You know, if I had a credit every time a woman said that, Ael'ara's eyes flashed. Careful, human. I can hear your thoughts now. Rion froze. You can what? Her lips curved slightly. You think very loudly. Especially about whether I'm wearing armor or if that's just... Okay. Rion held up his hands. Let's keep it PG-13 in here, shall we? Chi-7 buzzed approvingly. Finally, a filter. The desert around them shimmered again, revealing faint holographic ruins flickering to life. Ael'ara's presence seemed to awaken the planet itself. Dormant technology sparking back to consciousness. She looked around, a faint sadness crossing her features. This world was once the crown of the Orion Empire. Then humans came, curious, reckless, and wonderful. They changed everything. Rion tilted his head. Wonderful, huh? You sure you met the same species? She smiled, a small haunting smile. You build art, chaos, and bad pop music. The universe has never been the same. Hey, those were classics, Rion protested. The intergalactic boy band saved a generation. Her silver brows lifted. You're defending them? With my life, he said solemnly. There was a pause, and then, unexpectedly, she laughed. The sound was warm and musical, like wind chimes colliding with stardust. Rion blinked. "Did I just make an alien laugh?" "You did," she said softly. "That hasn't happened in centuries." "Guess I still got it," he said, brushing imaginary dust off his jacket. "You still don't have basic hygiene," KI-7 corrected. Rion scowled. "You're lucky you're welded into my ship." "Emotionally, I'm already gone," Kai-7 replied flatly. Ael'ara watched their banter with curious amusement. "You two argue like bonded mates," Rion groaned. "Please don't encourage it." Then Ael'ara's armor flickered, dimming slightly. She staggered. "Whoa, hey!" Rion caught her before she could fall. Her skin felt cool, metallic but strangely alive, like touching starlight wrapped in silk. "I need energy," she murmured. "My power core is failing." "I was not meant to awaken yet," Rion frowned. "Energy as in—" KAI-7 chimed in helpfully. "A compatible life form could transfer bioelectric energy through physical contact." Rion blinked. "Physical contact?" Ael'ara raised a brow. "Don't look so eager, human." I was just—" "You were absolutely eager," Kai-7 confirmed. Rion sighed. "Fine, how do I—" "Like this," Ael'ara said, placing her hands on his chest. A faint pulse of blue light passed between them. The air shimmered. It wasn't painful. It felt like static and warmth, like a jolt of caffeine mixed with déjà vu. Their eyes met. And for a second, he saw flashes in her mind, towering cities of glass, laughter, battles, heartbreak, and a final moment of stillness as she went into hibernation, waiting for something, or someone, to wake her. When it was over, she took a deep breath, her armor glowing faintly again. "That should suffice," she said quietly. Rion exhaled, slightly dizzy. "Wow! Usually when I touch a woman, the lights don't literally turn on." She looked at him, confused. "Is that human humor?" "Yeah," he said. "Half charm, half bad decision." "Fitting," she said with a faint smile. "You are a perfect example of your species." KI-7 added. "A statistically average one, yes," Rion groaned. "I'm surrounded by critics." As the suns dipped below the cliffs, the relic behind them shimmered and disassembled. 1,000 tiny shards of silver rising into the air and dissolving into starlight. Ael'ara turned toward him. "Now that I am awake, my purpose resumes. I must recover what remains of the human legacy." "And what exactly is that?" Rion asked. She hesitated. "Artifacts, memories, and—" She looked at him, her gaze oddly soft. "People?" Rion scratched his neck. "Right. Because when you think legacy, obviously you call me." "You were the one foolish enough to wake me," she said lightly. "So you're part of it now," Rion sighed. "Story of my life. One bad decision at a time." He turned toward the horizon, trying to ignore the strange flutter in his chest. She was beautiful, not in the conventional human sense, but in the otherworldly, dangerous, might delete you from existence kind of way. And somehow he was already hooked. Ael'ara tilted her head. "You're thinking about me again?" "I what?" "No, I was, strategizing." "You were imagining if my armor comes off in one piece or several panels." "Okay, that's—" KI-7 cut in gleefully. "Confirmed," Rion muttered under his breath. "Remind me to uninstall you later." Ael'ara smirked. "Humans have not changed much." "Still curious. Still clumsy, still—" She paused, her voice softening. "Beautifully unpredictable." Rion looked at her, surprised by the sincerity. That almost sounded like a compliment. "Don't get used to it," she said, walking ahead, her armor gleaming under the twilight. He followed, shaking his head. "Yep, definitely married. Bonded," she corrected. "Tomato, tomato." As they walked toward the ruins, a soft hum filled the air. The holographic city around them flickered again, showing fleeting glimpses of ancient humans dancing, laughing, kissing under alien skies. Rion stopped, watching. "They look happy?" Ael'ara smiled faintly. They were. Until they weren't. History repeats, even among the stars. Rion looked at her, and for the first time, the joking tone in his voice faltered. Maybe this time it doesn't have to. She met his gaze. Careful, human. That almost sounded romantic, he grinned. Don't worry. I'll ruin it with a joke in a second. And he did. The first night on Ael'ara 9 was colder than a tax auditor's heart. Rion sat near the flickering campfire, a makeshift plasma torch jammed into a crater rock, while Ael'ara stood a few meters away, staring up at the sky as if it had betrayed her. The stars were wrong, literally. She muttered to herself, the constellations have shifted. 312 degrees eastward. Rion chewed on a nutrient bar that tasted like regret. So, what does that mean exactly? It means, she said without turning, I've been asleep longer than I thought. How long are we talking? A few centuries? She turned her glowing eyes toward him. A few millennia, Rion nearly choked. You mean I just woke up someone who's older than democracy? Older than your species' sarcasm reflex, apparently, he grinned. Oh, that's eternal. Kai-7's voice crackled from the communicator beside him. Commander, I have successfully scanned your surroundings. Probability of survival for the next 48 hours, 36%. Probability of you flirting your way into danger, 100%. Wow, Rion said. My own ship roasts me now. What a time to be alive. Ael'ara walked closer, her metallic armor catching faint light from the flickering torch. Your technology is primitive, yet charming. Like a stone tool that insists it's a laser blade? Hey, he said, mock-offended. This primitive tech has saved the galaxy at least? Okay, once. Accidentally. She studied him, head slightly tilted. You joke often. Part of my charm, Rion said. That and my ability to make bad decisions sound heroic. You sound like every human ambassador I've ever met. Oh, so you've met diplomats? I thought humans were new to you. New. She laughed softly. I studied humans. I admired them once. You were reckless and strange, but your capacity for love was unlike anything else in the universe. Love, huh? Rion smiled, leaning back on a rock. Yeah, we're good at that. Usually followed by self-destruction, jealousy, and at least one dramatic playlist. Her eyes shimmered. You sound like experience speaks. Let's just say I've had some training. KAI-7 cut in flatly. He's referring to 3 failed relationships, 1 interstellar restraining order, and a cactus he named Veronica. Hey, Rion protested. Veronica and I had something real. Ael'ara blinked, trying and failing to hide a smile. You're interesting, Commander Vale? Interesting good, or interesting, please don't talk to me ever again? She hesitated, then smirked faintly. Undecided. Before Rion could respond, the ground rumbled beneath them. A soft, rhythmic pulse echoed through the desert, like a heartbeat. Ael'ara's expression shifted instantly. Something's coming. Rion stood, hand on his blaster. Define something. Old, hungry. Kai-7 interrupted. Commander, seismic sensors detect approaching mass signatures. Organic, large, and not the cuddly kind. Rion sighed. So, not fans, then. From beyond the ridge, a shape emerged, a creature made of molten stone and mechanical tendrils, its eyes burning like coals. It looked like a lizard designed by someone who hated sleep. Is that a lava dragon? Rion asked. Ael'ara's tone was grim. A sentinel warden. It protects what remains of this planet. Well, it's doing a great job protecting us from breathing. The creature let out a thunderous growl that rattled his teeth. Rion raised his blaster. So, shoot it? Unless you have diplomatic immunity, Ael'ara said, summoning a blade of glowing blue light from her armor. Yes. Rion fired first. The blaster bolt hit the creature's chest and bounced off harmlessly. He groaned. Of course. Why would it ever be easy? Ael'ara dashed forward, moving like liquid lightning. Her blade sliced through the creature's tendrils, sparks scattering into the sand. She looked magnificent, fierce, glowing, unstoppable. Rion couldn't help muttering, Okay, note to self, do not make her mad. KI-7 replied, adding to your permanent mental health log, Commander is attracted to dangerous entities. Shut up and give me a firing solution. I was talking to myself, sir. The creature lunged. Ael'ara dodged, leaping gracefully onto its back, her armor flaring like a starburst. She plunged her blade into its molten spine. Rion fired again, this time aiming for its underbelly. The blast struck something soft, and the beast screeched, collapsing into molten fragments. When the dust settled, Ael'ara landed beside him, graceful as falling light. He grinned. Nice teamwork, she raised an eyebrow. You missed your first 3 shots. I was strategically warning it. Ah, she said dryly. Human mercy fire, he chuckled. Exactly. She sheathed her blade, her expression softening slightly. You handled yourself well, Commander Vale. Coming from a 1,000-year-old warrior goddess, I'll take that as a compliment. Her metallic lips curved faintly. It was one. For a long moment they stood there, the wind swirling around them, the ruins glowing faintly under the twin moons. Then Rion said, You know, you really do have a thing for dramatic entrances. I was asleep for a millennium, she said. I'm making up for lost time, he laughed. Fair enough. They sat by the campfire again, the adrenaline slowly fading. Rion handed her a ration pack. Hungry? She looked at it skeptically. What is this? Flavorless cube, chocolate protein bar, deliciously synthetic. Tastes like ambition and sadness. She took a tentative bite. Her face twisted immediately. Your species eats this voluntarily? It's an acquired taste. It's a war crime. He laughed so hard he almost dropped his bar. Welcome to humanity. Her metallic skin shimmered as she smiled. Perhaps your kind has survived this long purely out of spite. Hey, it's our greatest strength. They fell into a comfortable silence for a while, the fire flickering between them. Then Rion spoke quietly. So about that bond thing? Does it, mean we can, feel each other's? Yes, she said before he could finish. Oh. And no, you cannot control it. Oh. She looked at him amused. You humans think too loudly. Sorry, he said sheepishly. Just not used to telepathic roommates. Her gaze softened. Do not fear it. The bond is temporary. Once my mission is complete, it will dissolve. Right, he said. Temporary. Got it. But for some reason, the thought didn't sit right. After a moment, she added, Besides, it's not entirely unpleasant. I can sense your humor, your stubbornness, your curiosity, Rion smirked. You sure that's not just gas from the ration bar? She rolled her eyes. Perhaps, KI-7 broke in again. Commander, your body temperature has increased by 3.2 degrees. Are you mute mode now? Rion barked. Activating romantic privacy protocol, KI-7 replied. Warning, it's been unused since installation. Ael'ara chuckled softly, the sound warm and unexpectedly human. You are strange creatures, Commander Vale. And yet, he said, leaning slightly closer, you don't seem to mind. Her silver eyes met his. Mind? No, understand? Not yet, he smiled. Good. Gives me something to work on. Before she could reply, a faint shimmer appeared on the horizon, a ripple in the air like heat distortion. But it wasn't heat, Ael'ara stiffened. They found me. Who? The architects. The ones who built me and who swore to never let the human legacy rise again. Rion frowned. So, we're talking bad guys. Ancient bad guys, she corrected. The worst kind, Kai-7, unmuted automatically, added, incoming energy signatures. Suggest immediate retreat or at least some witty last words. Rion groaned. Great, more running. He grabbed his gear and turned to Ael'ara. You got a plan? Her eyes glowed fiercely. Yes, survive. As they sprinted across the glowing dunes, energy blasts erupted behind them, lighting up the night. Rion ducked, laughing breathlessly. I thought you said the bond was temporary. It is, she shouted over the chaos, unless one of us dies first. Well, that's comforting. They reached a ridge overlooking a valley of shattered relics, broken spires, cracked domes, old ships half buried in sand. Ael'ara raised her hand, channeling energy from her armor. The ground trembled, and an ancient transport ship slowly rose from beneath the dunes. Rion stared, wide-eyed. "You can summon ships?" "I remembered where I parked," she said coolly. "Remind me never to argue with you." They boarded the ship, the doors sealing behind them just as plasma fire exploded outside. The engines roared to life, not with fuel, but with some kind of luminous energy that made the floor hum under their feet. As they lifted off, Rion looked out at the crumbling desert below. "So what now?" Ael'ara turned toward him, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "Now, Commander Vale, we find the rest of humanity's legacy before they do." Rion grinned. "Adventure, danger, possible intergalactic extinction. Sounds like a normal Tuesday." She tilted her head. "You enjoy this chaos, don't you?" "Only when you're around," he said. Ael'ara's lips twitched in what might have been a smile. "Then prepare yourself, human. The galaxy remembers more than you think," and with that, the ship shot into the night. Two unlikely allies bound by accident, fate, and one very ill-timed kiss. The ship cut through the starlit void like a silver arrow, leaving the wrecked sands of Ael'ara 9 far behind. Inside the cockpit, glowing panels flickered with alien symbols that Rion definitely did not understand but was 100% pretending to. "All right," he muttered, poking at a console. "If I press this, we go faster?" Ael'ara didn't look up from her controls. "If you press that, the ship will implode." "Ah," he said. "So, don't touch that." "Correct. Got it. Just the shiny buttons, then." "None of the shiny buttons, Commander Vale," he grinned. "That's a shame." "Shiny buttons are my weakness," KI-7 chimed from the comms system. "Correction. Your weakness is poor impulse control." Rion sighed. "You two are going to be great friends, I can tell." Ael'ara gave him a sidelong glance, her glowing silver eyes narrowing. "That voice belongs to your artificial companion?" "Yeah, KAI-7, my co-pilot/therapist/emotional tormentor." "I see." She paused. "He's insufferable," Rion chuckled. "You have no idea," Kai-7's tone brightened. "Flattered to be noticed by an ancient alien war relic. Shall I add that to my resume?" Ael'ara frowned. "I could disable him," Rion grinned. "Tempting, right?" "Deeply." They flew in silence for a few minutes. Or rather, Rion tried to be silent. The problem was, silence wasn't his thing. "So, the architects, huh?" he asked. "You said they built you. What are they, gods? Robots? Angry HOA members of the galaxy?" Ael'ara didn't laugh, but her expression softened a little. "They were the first civilization to conquer entropy. They designed life, mechanical, organic, hybrid. I was created as a guardian and a weapon." Rion leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "And humans? Where do we come in?" She hesitated, her metallic fingers tightening slightly on the console. "Humans were different. You didn't need engineering to create meaning. You found it in chaos. Love, humor, loss. You were messy." She smiled faintly. "Beautifully so," Rion nodded. "Yeah, that sounds like us. We break everything we touch, but we write songs about it." Her eyes glimmered. "I remember one such song. A human scientist sang it to me before sealing me away." "What song?" Ael'ara's voice softened, melodic and low. It was about a foolish man who fell in love with a star. He reached for her, and in doing so, burned himself. Yet he smiled even as he fell. Rion was quiet. "Sounds like a tragedy." "It was," she said, "but it was also human." For a long moment, neither spoke. The hum of the ship filled the silence like a heartbeat. Then Rion broke it. "Because of course he did." "So, any chance that song came with dance moves?" Ael'ara blinked. "Dance moves?" "Yeah, like interpretive." He wiggled his shoulders. "Starman reaches, gets burned, still looks good doing it." Her lips curved just slightly. "You are impossible." "Hey, that's my charm." 90% irritation, 10% accidental bravery. KAI-7 buzzed. "Statistically accurate," Rion ignored it. "So where are we headed anyway?" Ael'ara adjusted the navigation array. "To the moons of Ael'ara, the archive of echoes. It's where fragments of the human legacy were stored before the fall. And we're hoping the bad guys don't know about it." "They will know," she said. "They always do," Rion grinned. Good, I like a challenge. You also liked eating expired ration bars, KI-7 reminded him. Your judgment is unreliable, Rion sighed. You see what I deal with? Ael'ara smiled faintly. He's right, though. Traitor. She looked at him. Really looked. As if measuring the weight of his humor against the sincerity in his eyes. Why do you hide fear behind jokes? He shrugged. Because it works. It doesn't, she said softly. Not with me, Rion froze. She wasn't teasing this time, and for a moment, the cockpit felt smaller, quieter, like the galaxy had leaned in to listen. He met her gaze, then looked away. You ever think maybe I don't want to remember what fear feels like? She didn't answer. But her armor dimmed slightly, a gesture he was learning meant empathy. Finally, she said, You are braver than you think. Rion Vale? Yeah, he said with a crooked smile. But not as brave as the guy who kissed an alien relic. Foolish bravery counts too, she murmured. Before Rion could reply, an alarm blared. KAI-7's voice was sharp. Incoming vessels. 3 signatures. Hostile configuration. Rion jumped to his feet. Already? We just got out of the last mess. Your luck, K7 said, is a continuous mess. Outside, 3 dark ships emerged from a warp tear, sleek, triangular, and humming with blue energy. Ael'ara's tone hardened. Architect Hunters. Cool name, Rion said, strapping into the pilot's seat. Terrible timing. Hold steady, she ordered. Their weapons will destabilize your hull. He pulled the ship into a sharp roll as energy blasts streaked past. Define hold steady. Fly smarter. I'm flying stupidest, it's faster. Ael'ara extended her arm, and glowing symbols lit up along her armor. She merged with the ship's energy core, her eyes turning blinding blue. I can amplify the shields for a few seconds. Do it! Brace yourself. The cockpit filled with light. Rion felt the surge ripple through him, through them. Their bond flared, connecting their nerves, thoughts, even breaths. Whoa, he gasped. That's new! I am syncing our life fields, she said through gritted teeth. Don't resist. Who's resisting? Your thoughts are loud. Yeah, well, maybe don't connect your brain to a man who thinks about breakfast half the time. Ael'ara's lips curved even as she concentrated. And the other half? Trying not to crash. The ship spun through debris, narrowly dodging another blast. Rion's instincts kicked in, a mix of panic and pure luck, and he dove straight toward the nearest moon's surface. The attackers followed, their plasma fire lighting up the craters. Hang on, he yelled. Ael'ara focused her energy, channeling a burst through the ship's thrusters. The vessel screamed forward, diving into a narrow canyon between 2 glowing ridges. The enemy ships overshot, colliding in a brilliant explosion of light and molten shards. Rion whooped. Ha! And they say I can't fly. KI-7 muttered. Statistically, you still can't. Ael'ara slumped back, her armor flickering. The shields are failing. We need to land. Rion guided the ship toward a nearby plateau and set it down roughly, sparks flying. As the engines powered down, Ael'ara exhaled slowly, the glow fading from her eyes. You okay? He asked. She nodded weakly. Channeling that much energy. It drains me. Rest, he said. I'll handle the rest. You'll handle nothing without instructions, Kai-7 interjected. Not helping. He turned back to Ael'ara, whose armor now looked dim, almost translucent. Without her usual radiant energy, she looked smaller. Fragile, even. You really shouldn't keep risking yourself like that, he said quietly. She met his gaze. And you shouldn't keep caring so much. Too late. For the first time, she looked caught off guard. You care? He shrugged. I mean, you saved my life twice. Plus, you make fun of me just the right amount. It's nice. Her lips twitched. Humans. You attach so easily. Yeah, he said softly. It's what we do best. Kai-7's voice softened slightly, a rare moment of sincerity. Commander, her power levels are critical. Recommend initiating energy transfer protocol. Rion blinked. Again? Ael'ara looked away. No, I can recover on my own. Hey, he said gently. You don't have to be the invincible space goddess all the time. She gave a small, reluctant laugh. And you don't have to be the fool who thinks he can save everyone. They stared at each other, the silence thick, charged and far too personal for two people who'd known each other less than a galactic day. Finally, she whispered, "If I fall, the legacy dies with me." "Then don't fall," he said. "Because I'm not letting you," she smiled faintly. "You're infuriating. I get that a lot." For a brief moment, her hand brushed his. Cold metal meeting warm skin. And for the first time, the bond between them didn't just pulse with shared energy. It felt, not as soldier and relic, but as two lonely beings who'd finally met someone who saw them. Then the ship's scanners pinged. KI-7 spoke sharply. Multiple life forms approaching. Not human. Not friendly, Rion stood. Guess we're not done yet. Ael'ara's eyes flared back to life. Then let's finish this together. Always, he said, cocking his blaster. Bonded, right? Bonded, she agreed. Outside, shadows began to crawl across the moon's surface. Tall, angular shapes with glowing eyes and voices that whispered through static. The architects had arrived. The moon's surface trembled as the first of the architect's sentinels stepped into the pale light, tall obsidian beings, bodies shaped like shifting geometry. Each one hummed with the same eerie resonance that had echoed in Ael'ara's voice the night she awoke. Rion's hand tightened on his blaster. "Okay," he muttered. "They look friendly enough. Maybe they just want to borrow sugar?" Ael'ara didn't even blink. "They don't consume. They erase." "Right. So not the neighborly type." KI-7 crackled through the comm. "Commander, might I suggest immediate strategic retreat?" Rion glanced at the AI panel. "Oh yeah, sure. Where to? You got a not dying button on this ship I missed?" "No, but statistically." "Kai, not now." Ael'ara raised her palm. Her armor pulsed with light again, though weaker than before. "The archive is beneath us," she said. "We reach it before they do, or humanity's legacy ends here." Rion exhaled. "Lead the way, Glow Girl." Her eyes narrowed. "If we survive, you will stop calling me that." No promises. They sprinted down the ridge, moon dust flying underfoot. Behind them, the sentinels began to move, not running, not walking, but sliding, each step leaving a ripple in the air like liquid glass. As they reached a fissure in the ground, Ael'ara extended her arm and pressed her hand to the stone. Ancient runes flared, responding to her touch. The ground split open, revealing a spiraling descent lit by blue fire. Rion peered down. "You first," she smirked faintly. "Coward. Strategically brave," he corrected. She jumped without hesitation, descending into the glowing abyss. Rion followed, because he always did, with KI-7's voice echoing through his earpiece. "This is a statistically poor decision." "Buddy," Rion said mid-fall. "You've been saying that since breakfast." They landed in a vast underground chamber, a cathedral of light and memory. Floating holograms of human faces shimmered all around them, laughing, crying, living. Rion turned slowly, awe filling his voice. "What is this place?" Ael'ara's expression softened. "The archive of echoes. Every human emotion ever recorded. Love, hope, grief, humor. The architects tried to understand them, but never could." He stepped toward one hologram. A little girl holding a puppy, giggling uncontrollably. The sound was pure. "Guess some things you can't code." Ael'ara nodded. "And that is why they feared you." Before Rion could reply, the chamber trembled. The sentinels had followed. Their voices boomed like a chorus of thunder. "The legacy belongs to the architects." Ael'ara turned, her energy flaring. "You had your chance to feel." "You chose control." Rion raised his blaster. "And we choose chaos." He fired, a shot that barely dented their shields. "Okay," he said, ducking behind a pillar. "Chaos needs a new plan." Ael'ara extended both arms. The chamber's core began to spin, releasing a sphere of blinding light. "This is the heart of humanity," she said. "It can rewrite the code of the universe, if bonded with a living soul." Rion blinked. Wait, bonded like? Yes, she said. Like us. Oh, he said. That's romantic. And mildly terrifying, the sentinels advanced. Energy crackled across their bodies. Rion looked at Ael'ara, his humor faltering for the first time. If we do this, what happens to you? She hesitated. I was built to merge and not to survive it, he stared. No, you're not doing the noble sacrifice thing. That's my job. She stepped closer, her eyes luminous and soft now. You gave me something I never understood before, Rion, a reason to exist beyond duty. He shook his head. Don't you dare make this a goodbye. It isn't, she whispered, placing her hand on his chest. It's a continuance. The sentinels fired. A beam of pure energy shot toward them, and Ael'ara pulled him into the light. For a heartbeat, Rion felt everything. Her memories, his fears, laughter, the song she once mentioned about the man who fell for a star. The kiss they'd shared on that dusty planet, replayed in infinite echoes, multiplied into galaxies of color. KAI-7's voice crackled through static. Commander Vale, your vitals are... Oh dear. The heart expanded, waves of radiant energy sweeping outward. The sentinels froze mid-stride, their forms fracturing like glass hit by sound. Rion's voice was a whisper. Ael'ara? She smiled, and for the first time her smile wasn't cold or mechanical. It was human, Liv, she said softly. That's the only legacy that matters. Then she dissolved into light. The explosion that followed was silent. A perfect, wordless song that rippled through the void. When Rion woke, he was lying in a crater. The moon's sky stretched endlessly above him. His body ached, but he was breathing. Somehow, KI-7's voice chimed faintly. Welcome back, Commander. Your tendency to survive improbable scenarios remains impressive. Rion groaned. Where's Ael'ara? There was a pause. Then, from the comm system, a voice, soft, familiar. I am here. He sat up. Ael'ara? Her image flickered onto the cockpit display, translucent, shimmering, but unmistakably her. I exist now within the heart. Within you. He blinked. Within me? Like, metaphorically? Her lips curved. Technically, yes. Emotionally. Also, yes, he exhaled, laughing a little. You just can't let me have the last word, can you? Never, she said warmly. Someone has to correct your errors. Kai-7 muttered, Wonderful. 2 of them now. Rion stood, looking toward the horizon, a sunrise blooming over the silver plains of Eltara's moon. So, what now? Ael'ara's voice was like wind and music at once. Now, human, you keep writing your story. The architects sought perfection. You will give them imperfection. Beautifully flawed, endlessly alive, he smiled. You really did learn to be one of us, didn't you? Perhaps, she said. Or perhaps you reminded me what I was built to protect. He touched the pendant she'd left behind, a shard of glowing metal that pulsed faintly with her light. You know, he said, if we'd met back on Earth, I'd have taken you out for coffee. Coffee, she repeated, curious. A human ritual of bonding? Something like that. She laughed softly, the sound echoing through the ship's speakers like distant bells. Then save me a cup. He nodded. Always. Weeks later, the Seraph 9 drifted through the stars again, patched up. Half working, still defying physics. Rion sat in the cockpit, a familiar hum in his ear. You're smiling, Ael'ara noted. Yeah, he said. Guess I finally figured out what the legacy of humans really is. Oh? It's not tech. It's not knowledge. It's us. The fact that we love things we can never fully understand and do it anyway. She was quiet for a long moment. Then, that is beautifully inefficient, he grinned. Exactly, Kai-7 sighed audibly. I am surrounded by romantics. Rion leaned back, feet on the console. Strap in, gang. Next stop. Somewhere stupid. Define stupid, Kai-7 said warily. Wherever trouble is, Rion replied. Ael'ara's laugh shimmered through the cockpit. Then we are already home. The ship accelerated, vanishing into the stars. Epilogue. echoes far across the galaxy. Where the heart's energy had spread, new lights began to appear, faint sparks igniting in forgotten worlds. Children looked to the sky and saw shapes of laughter in the constellations. And somewhere, in the data stream of an ancient civilization long gone, a new phrase appeared in golden code: the legacy of humans to love beyond logic.